And it was a challenging introduction because Eric had helped me fix a credit problem for my sister. And if you ever met my sister, let me tell you, it's hell and rain if you don't do it right for her. She is the most meticulously, oh my God. Nevertheless, I didn't think it was going to happen. It was a 30-day late accident because she had done a refi with me. So my neck was going to hang. Eric fixed it. We were able to cure that problem. And ever since then, Eric's been my go-to guy for the last 5 years. And just to cite another example, we just fixed a credit for a gentleman who had an ITIN number that didn't have the right FICO score. So it was difficult enough as it is. Uh, was that Teresa? I tell you.
Okay,
And
wait,
so
hold on. I gotta mute somebody.
so November, I mean, no, sorry, December, Eric took on the challenge, and the short story is he fixed it. The loan was funded, I believe, 2 weeks ago. So kudos to you, Eric.
Thank
And
you.
that's just one out of quite a handful of clients that he has fixed for me. So today's purpose, and I'll now close with this, is we want you to have clients that you can drip down the road, dream campaign, because they couldn't qualify today, but maybe in 2 months, in 3 months, with Eric's assistance, it will be a viable buyer client and you will be able to close. And I will raise my hand and attest today that that does work. I've had 4 clients literally that Eric has fixed and fixed for me, and I've closed them in a purchase transaction. So with that in mind, I turn it over to you, Eric. Thank you.
Thanks, Jojo. I mean, I'll just give you the history of my name is Eric Kaplan, and I own a company called THD Credit Consulting. I've been doing this about 16 years. Prior to doing this, I was a loan officer for a few banks for 12 years. So I kind of know the process. So basically, in order to look at someone's credit report, or how, I work with a lot of different people, like Jojo, is that he'll make an email introduction to a client. He'll ask them if it's okay to send the credit report, or if they have a copy of the credit report, they'll send it to me. I'll analyze their credit report, and I'll basically tell them, what I can do, where I can get their scores to, how long it would take, what I would charge. Typically, our fees range anywhere from, $300, and it can be sometimes to $1,500. It just really depends on how much work is involved. Once I review the credit report and tell them what we can do, we pretty much guarantee what we can do for them. So if we quote them a certain time frame and a score, if we can't, get that score in that time frame, we'll refund their money to them. I would say, a candidate for us, a good candidate for us, is somebody who's actively looking for a mortgage, because, those are the people that are motivated, and those are the people that, if they have a 580 or a 680 and they want to get to 620 or 640 or 720, those are the people that are, we can help out. It just really depends on what the situation is. In what Jojo said about the ITN numbers, one of those things is we kind of figure out what needs to be done, and then we get it done. We were talking about sometimes, like, first-time home buyers may have issues. They don't know they have issues. So, getting a credit report and having it reviewed, can help them, in the process of, finding out what they can, what they can afford, or what they can't afford, or what they need to do to get their credit straight. So that's what we do. And, we don't charge anything to review the credit report. We analyze it for free, and then we give them what we feel we can do in the time frame. It's pretty much what I can do. And if you guys have some questions, I'm happy to answer any questions for you. No questions?
Oh, come on, guys.
So let me jump in real quick. So that's a quick synopsis, and really is exactly like that. A lot of the work that Eric does goes on in the background. And what I typically do is I would check with them every 30 days or so, if it's a couple months of a process, to see how's it going. And Eric is very good in providing immediate feedback. We do everything by email. Everything is done by email. But given that, there's not a lot for Eric to really detail to you what he does, because that's not the point of this. So, but there you have questions. Now is the time to ask scenario questions that you may have, or things that you might be thinking on how to fix credit reports.
I mean, one thing Jojo pointed out earlier is that, if you have people that don't qualify, and he'll attest to this, you put them in the pipeline, 30, 60 days, 90 days later, you have a deal. And Jojo will tell you, he probably sends, I mean, over the years, right now we probably have 6 or 7 deals, and we probably have 6 or 7 deals going, at all times where, in 60 days, he may close a deal, or I may say, hey, this person's ready, and he's ready to move forward on a loan with them. So, it's like you said, it's building a pipeline. And when you have that pipeline, you just throw it in there, and these people come back to you because they're so happy now that their credit's fixed and they can actually go get approved for something.
Hey, Eric, this is Emilio. How's it going?
How are you?
Good, good. Hey, so when we have a client that goes to you, who do we follow up with 30, 60 days? That would be with Jojo
No,
yourself, or
you can go
how does that work?
You can come directly to me. You can email
Just
me.
to see just to see how things are going.
Correct. You just email me and I'll get right back to you. I mean, I can give you an update in a matter of minutes.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Hi, Eric. It's Kurt Keebler. Typically, and I'm sorry, maybe if I missed it, typically, how long does it take to repair somebody's credit? Does it vary? Is it trying to do that in less than like 6 months, or how does that work?
Unless it's very severe, 6 months, I would say the average turn time is between 60 and 70 days. So if it's a small blemish that can be like if it's a collection account or something that can be paid and we can get it deleted, it can be done in 30 days. But I would say the average time is probably 60 to 70 days.
Good to know.
Do you have a list of typical things that you can fix?
I do. I emailed something to Jojo. I can send it to the team, but I think Jojo has it. Yeah, he has it.
Wow, a lot of questions.
No, that was easy.
Oh, let me add a couple.
Maybe
couple
explain
things
the
here.
process.
All right.
The
Is that-
process is I look at the credit report, I review the credit report, I tell you what I can do in an email, how long it would take, what I would charge, and then the client either says I want to move forward or they don't. So that's pretty much the process. Once I get started, I tell you how long it's going to take.
Maybe the process on the back end. So you're reaching out to all the different creditors and you're trying to get that stuff cleared up, either paid off and removed, or not either, but paid off and removed, or just flat out removed.
I mean, every situation is different, so it's hard to be specific on every situation. But if, let's say they have 4 collection accounts, I either try to get them deleted if I know I can get them deleted, and if I can't get them deleted, then we settle them for less and we get them deleted after they're settled.
So
Got
let me jump in with that with what Eric said. So for the real estate agent, for you guys, hopefully before you make that referral to Eric, you've already had a discussion with a MLO or lender like myself, because I'm the one that's going to tell you what needs to happen. Someone asked the question, what is the lowest score for a home loan? Well, yeah, exactly. So I would be the one that knows that. So if we're looking at a client, heck, there's a client right now that I talked to Eric this morning. The client had a 580 score. I need them to be at 620, 640 for the FHA. In other words, I've already looked at the client's credit. I have made the general assessment as to what needs to happen. And during the introduction, which is essential for Eric, so I got to give him some guidance on what we want to do. Because I mean, he could go on forever, cleaning that up for a year and make it perfect. But that's not what I need. I just need 640, 660, or a certain benchmark just to get him into that product. So what is that point? The point here is that you've already had this conversation with the lender, who will tell you this is what needs to happen. And by the way, what I do is when I make that recommendation, before I go to Eric, I talk to the agent and the client. I said, guys, in order for us to get this loan, these are the minimums required on the credit and what needs to be removed, deleted, increased in scores. And I say, do you want to move forward? And the client says, yes, of course, I want to move forward. And then in my email introduction to Eric, meet Mr. Smith. He's looking to need credit repair, and these are the items that he needs to happen. Can you take a look at the credit report and tell me if we're in the ballpark or if it's feasible? Eric comes back to us in less than 24 hours, says, yes, I can do it. This is the cost to do it. This is the time frame to do it. And then from there on, I just make notes on my CRM how long it's going to take, because I got to do follow up with Eric. And Eric has a lot of clients, and that's basically it on the time frame that Eric said. And so far, Eric has not. Well, he missed one. It wasn't his fault. It was the
But
client's fault.
Jojo, let me add this. What you said this morning. The guy had a collection account from like I think it's 2 years ago, and it's on one bureau. It's on two bureaus, but not the third. So basically, all we have to do is settle that account, and within 35 to 40 days, his middle score will go up to 640 or 660, and it's that easy. It wouldn't take that long to get this client who can't qualify now to qualify in 35 to 40 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in essence, like he said, it just depends on the credit profile of the client. There's been one that Eric fixed for me in 2 weeks. And so we were off and running. So it just depends on that. Every profile has its own niche to it.
So can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
What about, where does rapid rescore come in and how much is that cost? So like if you get someone to, do something really quick and they can handle it, and then, can you explain the process of that?
Well, rapid rescore used to be utilized many years ago a lot. And as rapid rescore is not used as much now because a rapid rescore is if you have, let's say, a medical collection. And let's say the collection agency says, you pay this, we're going to give you a deletion letter. And if you get that deletion letter, you can go to the lender. Some lenders let you do it, some don't. And you can use that letter and you can do a rapid rescore. But these days, and I don't know what it costs a lender to do it, but these days, if you have a deletion letter, I can get it to a credit bureau in a matter of 3 days and they'll have it deleted, right? And that's basically what a rapid rescore is. If you need to pay down a balance of a credit card, let's say, and you need to have that letter from the credit card company saying, the balance is 10,000, now it's 5, and use that to do a rapid rescore. I don't know.
Dated myself.
What's that?
So I just dated myself talking about rapid rescore.
No, I mean, listen, if you're not in the business, if you're not in the loan business, I mean, you would know, but they just don't do it. They do it. They just don't do it as much now as they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
There's a question here from Luis. Eric, cousin is getting divorced. She has some bad credit. What is the process of fixing it? Should they start now or later? I'm gonna let you answer that.
Well, it depends on, sometimes when you get divorced, people let their credit cards go. And so if they're not current on their credit cards at this point, like if they're 30, 60 days, I would wait until A, they either get current, or B, it charges off as a bad debt. Because when you're currently late, there's really not much I can do to help.
I have 2 questions.
There you go, Mona.
So the first question is, I've heard some people when they have credit card debt, what they'll do is they'll transfer the credit card debt from a credit card that has high APR to another one that has low APR, and then they have to pay some kind of transfer fee. Can you please talk a little bit about this?
So if you have a $10,000 credit card, it has a $10,000 balance, and you want to, and let's say you're paying 12%, and you want to transfer to a 0% card for 12 months, there is a fee to transfer that, right? And so people will do that all the time. But the key rule is, if you have a maxed out credit card and you take that 10,000 and transfer it to another, like a 0%, but you max out your credit card again, it's not going to help your credit scores. So if you keep your credit card balances below 50% of the credit limit, that will help you maximize your credit scores. So you could do the balance transfer. I get it. You're saving money on the interest. Go ahead.
Eric, comment on, are you able to remove bankruptcies off the credit report?
No, I cannot get a bankruptcy out of the credit report.
I have a quick question, Eric. Can you explain the difference between bad credit and no credit?
Well, no credit is basically people that just pay cash for everything, or people that are young, that kids that just come out of high school or college don't have credit. People that come from different countries may not have credit. So basically, no credit is just not having established any credit whatsoever. And bad credit obviously is people that default on their stuff or go late or have collections or have charge-offs or repos.
Do you want your clients to have no credit or bad credit?
I can't really do anything with no credit. I mean,
right.
there's nothing to fix. So I prefer the bad credit.
Got it.
I have another credit. I said a credit. I have another question. So let's say somebody has multiple credit cards. They pay them off in full. And then they don't use a credit card for X amount of months and it gets shut down. That probably, I know that hurts their credit score, especially the first couple of credit cards. But what if you have a bunch of credit cards, they're all paid off, and you always pay it off on time, and I forgot the rate. It's like, let's say your full like utilization rate, like you have a $5,000 limit and then you spend like less than 1,000 a month. Does it hurt you that you have a bunch of credit cards open if you're paying them off full every month?
It doesn't, having credit cards doesn't hurt. It doesn't matter how many credit cards you have. It really depends on the balance to the limit. So if you have your credit cards, like you said, and you're over 50% of the credit card limit, it's going to lower your scores. If you have $1,000 balance and you pay it off each month, your credit's fine. So if they shut it down, you're going to lose the history. But if you have a lot of credit cards, it may not affect your credit that much at all.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking is because I do credit card churning, and some cards, like after a while, like this one credit card, I don't really use it a lot. So how often should you use a credit card just to keep it open?
Every month.
Oh,
You should use it. You should pay $50, $100 every month. If you're not using the card, you're not getting the benefit of having the card.
okay.
Can I
And
ask a question then? Mona, we're gonna take turns. So then if you have a balance, let's say like on my cards, I have a 30, I'm 30% or whatever, just using 30%. So you say I should just do, is that okay? Or do I have to do new charges each month or just pay the minimum?
I mean, if you have, let's say you have $1,000 limit and your balance is 300 and you want to pay the minimum, you can pay the minimum or you can pay it off. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're carrying a balance, that's in essence, that's using the card every month.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There's a question on the chat, Eric. Someone's asking, can you get rid of an eviction on your credit report or on your report?
If the balance is a zero, then yes. If they owe a balance, it has to be settled and then it can be removed from the credit. But you cannot get eviction removed if they still owe the money.
Here's the question I have for you. I don't know if you already talked about medical collections.
So medical collections depends on how old they are, who the collection agency is, and the balances. A lot of the times, if a balance is below $300, you could get it deleted from the credit report without paying. If it's above $300, we can try to get it off, but typically you can't get it off. So you're either going to have to pay it. But sometimes, as we know, if it's a medical collect, if your scores are 660 or 680 and you have a few medical collections, you can still get a loan with it. So you don't necessarily have to pay them off.
Right.
So you can kind of be strategic about what you want to pay and what you don't want to pay.
Oh, that's a good point that Eric just made. So I've had clients that will say, well, I'm just going to start paying this off and then I'll call you in 30 days and then my score will be high. And I keep saying, do not do that. Let's have a professional analyze it on what's really going to increase your score, because paying down, paying off, closing, like Eric just said this afternoon, doesn't necessarily translate into an increase in scores. And most clients just think and feel, okay, well, if I just pay it off or I close it, my credit score is going to go up. No, don't do that. Have a professional look at it. There's another chat question. Eric, what about repos?
Again, a repo can be removed if it's settled or paid. If you still owe money on the repo, if it's 6 or 7 years old, then yes. But if it's a new repo, you're going to have to settle that repo. And once it's settled, then you can get the repo language off the credit report.
Okay. Another question. This is more for Jojo. If my client doesn't have regular income, credits in the 7, and there are loan options for them, yes, Amy, there is. Talk to me separately. Absolutely. I'll do a special Stephanie Alatori stated income loan. I'll take it out of her 401k.
Whatever I can do for our peeps, I'm a team player for sure.
Absolutely. No, but seriously, Amy, there is. So talk to me separately. There is a lot of them now since the credit easing has come back. Like early January, there's a lot of non-QM stated income products available for us. 3 different kinds that I can think of right now.
Great. Well, so if everyone has my email, if you have any questions, email me, or you want to give me a call. I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, go ahead.
So back to the credit cards. Because I know someone who they didn't use their credit card for a certain period of time and then it just automatically got shut down. What would be an estimate, like 3 months, 6 months, a year, etc.?
Sometimes credit cards companies shut it down within 3 months. Sometimes it takes 6 months. It really depends on the credit card company. Each credit card company can do what they want to do. And now in these times, a lot of times people are just shutting down their credit cards because they're afraid that if people have carried a lot of debt, they'll shut it down because they're afraid they're going to use their credit card too. So I don't really know that answer because it varies too much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Hi there. I'm sorry. I just please clarify. You said that if you have, again, credit card question, unused credit cards, it will hurt your credit as opposed to if unused.
It doesn't necessarily hurt your credit. It just doesn't help. It doesn't help your credit. So if you have a couple credit cards that you're not using at all, using the cards is what helps, because revolving debt is what drives your credit scores, and credit cards are the revolving debt. So if you're not using the card at all, it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't hurt you, but you don't get the benefit of having that using the card a little bit.
Great, thank you.
Eric, can you suggest the best way for clients to check their credit, like through the
Sure.
group?
Yeah, they can either go. I love Experian right now because Experian is free during this whole situation. So, and it is the most accurate credit reporting agency for a mortgage. So I typically tell people to go to Experian, but they can go to Credit Karma just to see what's on the report. Credit Karma is not. I think their score is always not accurate, but the stuff that's the accounts that are on Credit Karma are accurate. So if they just want to see what where they are or what's on there, they can go there. But I prefer Experian.
Got it. Thank you.
There's a question on chat. Has COVID affected any credit repairs? I know some people have been given eviction notice early April. Want to comment, Eric?
That's a more landlord-tenant issue. I don't know if that's my issue, but I mean, the credit agencies are still working, so we still get stuff done. I don't think it's hindered them. Good.
Going once, going twice. Okay, sounds like that's it for the questions with Eric. Eric, we're gonna go ahead and thank you and let you go.
Okay.
I have a couple more minutes with you guys if you want to stay on. I'll give you some more information. But Eric, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. You're amazing.
Thank you.
So for the rest of you guys, stay on a couple more minutes. I already posted his contact info on the chat, but if you do not have it, please email me. I'm gonna post my email information here in a second. And then for those of you who did not make it this morning's team meeting, hold on one second. Just some highlights today, and I'll just go through the most important ones. Rates are trending up. It's used to be at 2.8, 2.7, 30-year fixed last couple weeks ago, but February it has a trend increase. We're seeing a national average of 3.12 and a 15-year of 2.57. What's the takeaway? So you've got clients that are sitting there on the wings thinking, well, let me see what rate does, or let me see what rate does. The talking point here is rates are trending up. It's been the worst month for increase in February. And economic forecast, it'll continue to trend up, especially as the new administration employs the fiscal policies that they want to put together for the year. What other thing? Oh, and also for those of you who works with first-time home buyers, the 580 credit score FHA loan is back. Now, mind you, there's some key pieces there. 580 score is the minimum middle required, and they can do that. They can get an FHA loan, provided there are no current derogatory items on their credit report. In other words, if they look at this last 12 months, and they should not have any late payments or issues in the last 12 months. It's okay to have the 580 score as long as they're showing that in the last 12 months, they've been paying things on time. And well, Jojo, what if they do? Well, guess what? Call Credit Busters, Eric Kaplan, to have it fixed. Duh. No, just kidding. Other than that, that was the highlight. Oh, DACA loans are back, and I'm getting a lot of calls on down payment assistance program. Guys, there's three kinds that we can use. So if that's something that you're going after, that market, call me and learn about it. I did a class on it 2 months ago. Maybe Stephanie, maybe I could do one again in March at the next scheduled classes, because a lot of our newer agents are going after the DPA programs.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. I think we have you scheduled for March 31st.
oh, how do students loan? Sorry, Louise, last minute question. How do student loans affect getting a mortgage loan? Great question, actually, Louise. So it does. If the client says, well, I have student loans, but it's deferred, doesn't matter. We will assess them for a payment for the student loan. If we're doing an FHA loan, we will assess them 1% of the balance as a payment, even though it shows 0 on the credit report. And if it's a conventional loan, it's a higher percentage. I think it's 2% to 3%. But yes, it will be counted against them. Are the down payment programs from the country? From the country? Oh, from the county. Most of them are driven by the state of California. There's some city driven, but the bulk of it is state of California. And by the way, I can only do loans in the state of California. Good question. I think that's it. As always, thank you guys for your time. Stephanie?
That's it, guys. That's all she wrote. Yeah, Eric and Eric and Jojo are a great team. Really, really utilize that. Even if it's just like one little thing. I mean, it's worth the time and effort to just fix everything. It just makes the client feel better. You guys are a rock star, so on and so forth. So, and then you get more people in your pipeline, right? Because you're there to educate, serve, and educate, inform, and serve, right? So this is part of our service, is to make sure, and Jojo is always there for you guys. So please make sure to utilize that. Always ask us questions. And if there are any other topics that you want to make sure that we address, please let us know, because we want to make sure that we're a viable and priceless resource for you guys.
One more thing. In one of the classes, I had a handout. Someone asked earlier a question, what are the scores to get a loan? And I did a handout on the different loan products and the scores attached with them. And I can resend that out if you email me. But in that example, there was one product that has a minimum score of 680. What if you pulled the client's credit and the score was 679 and they couldn't get the loan with 1 point? Isn't that just annoying? And that could be fixed literally within a week, maybe even a couple of days. That's how critical it is in today's market and the lending world. Everything now is primarily driven first by the FICO score. So keep that in the back of your head. That's it, Stephanie. Is it beer 30 for me? Yes, thank you.
It's wine 30 for me.
Woohoo!
So thank you all. I really appreciate it. Hey, I just want to do a quick introduction. You see Monty up there. Well, he's on the top row of my screen. He is just waiting for his test date. He has committed to our wonderful KW family and specifically into the Calabasas. So please welcome Monty to our family.
Welcome, Monty.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, has a wealth of experience and just really great energy. And so we're excited to have him a part. So I'm just trying to thank anybody else there, but thank you, Monty, for being on. And thank you, Jojo, for all your excellence and introducing us to Eric. And everyone have a spectacular Wednesday night.
Happy hour. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
See everybody later. Bye.